What a wonderful June 7, 2020. Given the choice between two viruses, COVID-19 and the police state, Americans left no doubt that they would take COVID-19 over the police state. Historical memory is short, but this one is far from over. In the South, parents still take their children to the mighty statues of slave owners in the center of cities like Richmond, Virginia, and until recently New Orleans, to tell them about the grandeur of those men on horses who fought the first and most vicious war in this continent's history. What they don't tell children is that these men were the losers who fought to preserve trading slaves. The purple prose on these monuments have little to do with truth. They tell nothing of the reason why 620,000 men died over a century ago. The American Civil War never ended, even as freedom took bloody steps forward. In the 1960s, when white people took their children out of public schools to so-called private academies, they did so that they could keep lying about history. In the coming years, the civil rights marches and confrontations with the murderous KKK made progress. But the fight for teaching true history was far from won. President Johnson signed the Civil Rights Act of 1964 that outlawed discrimination based on race, color, religion, sex, or national origin. The losers, former slave owners, settled in for a long fight. More than 3/4 of a century later, the path to the legislated freedom was sabotaged by white men, from congressmen to urban planners. Voting laws are tilted to disallow people of color to vote, and their communities were ravaged by freeways built to destroy traditional neighborhoods. Did this history make it into school books? Think again. It did look like, slowly, the U.S. was on its way to a better future when it elected Barack Obama, the first black president. After Obama, it took only slightly less than one full term for power to be taken back by one of the most prejudiced and illiterate men America has ever known, the son of a Ku Klux Klan real estate developer who holds all his father's views without even the cleverness to hide his prejudices. He is trying to lie his way to establishing the institutionalized racism of a police state. So now, in the middle of a yet incurable contagious plague that killed over 100,000 people, the streets are alive with protest. It looks like we are finally learning history. An Englishman, Chris Godfrey, from a country that had a brutal past similar to ours, its former colony, wrote succinctly on Twitter yesterday. Let's be honest. One viral video showing a statue of a slave owner being torn down has done more to educate people about Britain's past atrocities than the statue did in the 125 years it was standing. We took down General Lee in New Orleans from his ridiculously tall pedestal. Now let's take the rest of them and recycle them. And while at it, let's make sure that those who died to rid us of slavery and its ongoing poisons are honored as they should, with deeds, not statues.